Hi everyone, I am Tanvi and I am going to discuss a few important questions from chapter 1 of class 11 statistics book. I will begin with short answer type questions. I will give you hint on how to attempt the questions. Statistics are dangerous weapon in the hands of unqualified person. Okay, now first you have to give a definition of statistics. What is statistics as a singular noun? So, statistics as a singular noun deals with principles and methods of data handling. So, it has 5 stages of data handling, starting from collection of data, organization of data, presentation of data, analysis of data, and interpretation of data. And then few examples of statistical tools used. For example, in collection of data, the statistic one of the method is census and sampling. In census, each and every member of the group is used for study. In sample, whereas in sample, only a part out of the total population is used for study. Let's understand how statistics is a dangerous weapon with the help of an example. The objective of an organization is to study the poverty rate in India. It uses random sampling method to collect data. So here uh, the I am assuming that in an organization few members who are collecting the data are unqualified. So if they are collecting data using random sampling method, in random sampling it randomly chooses some states and leaves some other states of India, then definitely the results will be wrong. So if the person is choosing some states and leaving some other states, for example, the person has randomly chosen. First of all, what is random sampling? Random sampling means when uh, the in so sampling means when you are choosing a part of the population for your study. So when random sampling means when the the probability of choosing every member out of the total population is fair and equal. Okay, so let's suppose it has chosen uh, Punjab as a state and had left Odisha as a state, okay, in random selection. So Punjab and Odisha are completely different states in terms of poverty rate. So the number of people in poor in Odisha will be more than the number of people poor in Punjab. So if you are leaving out some state and then calculating the poverty rate, then the result will definitely be wrong. Okay, so this is how if an unqualified person is collecting a data, then the results can be dangerous. Long answer type question. Statistics is defined as the science which deals with analysis of statistical data. Give examples. So, what is analysis of statistical data? Analysis is a stage of data handling, and the statistical tools which are used for analysis of data are mean, mode, median, which are measures of central tendency. What is mean? Mean is the average value, average observation or the representative observation out of the total observation. Similarly, mode is the observation which occurs maximum number of times. Median is the observation which lies in the middle of the series when the series are arranged in ascending or descending order. Okay, I am just giving you a brief of each of these terms so that you can understand the examples. What is variance? Variance is the spread of the data, how much the values are away from the mean value. Similarly, standard deviation is another example, another method, sorry, of spread of data. These are called as measures of dispersion. Another is correlation. Correlation means what is the degree and association of relation between two variables, whether the two variables are related to each other or not. That is explained by correlation. Now let's understand this with the help of example. Example 1, calculating mean, mode and median marks in economics of 40 students in a class. Now, if there is a data on marks scored by 40 students in a class in economics out of 100 marks in an assignment, then it is difficult for teacher to remember the marks of each and every student. Rather, if there is a representative value such as mean, mode, or median, it will be easy to remember and compare with other sections. So let's suppose the mean marks of students is 70 out of 100. So that is one example. Second example, same data set of 40 students, marks of 40 students in economics in a class. Now we are calculating variance of marks of 40 students in economics. So how is it different from measures of central tendency? In measures of central tendency, we do not know about the spread of the data. Spread of the data means how much the values are away from the mean value. Okay, like how much an individual student has scored different from the mean value. So that is explained by variance. Third example is of correlation. For example, the teacher wants to know the correlation between marks of students and attendance of students in economic subject. Now, here marks of students and attendance of students are two variables. The teacher wants to know whether there is a relationship between marks and attendance or not. So that can be examined with the help of correlation. So correlation can be used to know whether there is any relationship between the two or not. I hope this is clear. There are three kind of lies: lie, damned lies, and statistics. Explain the statement. So the above statement claims that statistics is a lie. How? It is basically due to misuse of statistics. So the consumers are misled. How? Let's see. For first example, a toothpaste brand claiming that 90% of consumers recommend the toothpaste of its brand. But in reality, while the survey was conducted, respondents were allowed to choose more than one toothpaste brand they like to use. So what happened when the person who is conducting research is has taken a sample out of the population for its study, and has prepared, let's suppose, a questionnaire where it is asking which toothpaste brand do you prefer, and there are 3 4 options such as, let's say, Colgate, Pepsodent, Dant Kanti, etc., and it is written in the bracket that you can choose more than one option. Now based on those results, the consumer is the person who is conducting the research is concluding that 90% of consumers recommend the toothpaste of its brand. But in reality, it is hiding the information that those consumers are also recommending some other brand as well. So that is how statistics can be a lie, or it can be misused. Another example on how consumers can be misled. So as you can see, the presentation, bar graphs, pie charts can distort conclusions. So presentation means the presentation of data which is done using statistical tools of bar graph, pie charts, etc. Now you can see here an example of bar graph. Starting a bar graph above zero makes a small difference looks massive. Now here is one example which I have taken uh, from the internet. Here you can see that the bar graph on the left side, this one, is starting from zero. Okay, and this basically is an example of the Biden-Harris administration reduced the deficit last year. So what is deficit here? Deficit basically means the fiscal deficit. What is fiscal deficit? It is basically the total expenditure minus total revenue of the government. Okay, so this is the you can see on the x-axis is the time period, the fiscal deficit in the year 2020 and the fiscal deficit in the year 2021. This is the bar, and this y-axis represents the fiscal deficit in billion dollars. So here you can see these bar graphs. In 2021, the fiscal deficit has reduced, as this blue bar is lower than the orange one, by how much? By $354 billion. Now if the same information is represented such that instead of starting the bar from zero, if the bars if the information is started from $2,000 billion onwards, as you can see in this graph on the right, here you see the same deficit of $354 billion appears to be more as compared to this graph. Why? Just because the data, the bar graph is not started from zero, it is started from 2000. So this is another example on how, the consumers can be misled. So what do we conclude? That the problem is not with statistics. Statistics is not a lie, but it is how people use it. If people, misuse it, then it appears to be a lie. Statistical methods are no substitute of common sense. So this can be explained with the help of an example. There is a very famous example of average height and average depth of river, that a family of four people wants to cross a river, and the father calculates the average height of family. Average means the mean height. So the mean height of total number of four people is 5 feet, and the mean depth, average depth, is 4 feet. Since average height is greater than average depth, he thinks it is safe to cross the river, and they do so. Consequently, some of them gets drowned while crossing the river. So why? This is because the average height of family member is 5 feet. But this doesn't mean that each and every member has height equal to 5 feet. Some people will have height equal to 5 feet, some people will have height less than 5 feet, and some people may have height greater than 5 feet. So people who have height less than 5 feet, let's say equal to 4 feet, then they will get drowned. So this is an example that statistical methods is not a substitute of common sense. Here the person has used mean as a statistical method, but it requires more of common sense rather than using mean as a statistical method to make conclusion. So with this, I conclude this video. In the next video, I will begin with chapter 2 of statistics, which is collection of data. Thank you.